At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. V.R. Sambat for giving me this wonderful opportunity to address the gathering. The topic for the day is, even though all the other speakers have already covered many of the issues, I would like to say generally as to what the law and the economic development means according to me. Law and economic development will not go together merely global level. It has to be restricted only municipal level. So according to me, law is twofold. One is the municipal law. The other one is the international treaty, which is to be implemented through international law. Then again, with regard to economic development, it refers to only the national development, and the protection of the people at large will depend always the government of the individual country. As the earlier speaker clearly pointed out, how this Singapore, which became independent sometime in the year 1967 or so, from Malaysia has gone to such a progress, not because of any international law or international development or international policy. It is because of the national law that was implemented in their country. So my endeavor is, if you look upon after the Second World War, the European countries who are affected because of the World War has come out with a huge proposal for international trade to avoid the depression and the poverty to the people at large. At that time, they came out with three institutions, International Monetary Fund and the International Trade Organization. The other one is World Bank. And this was sent to America for approval. The American Senate openly disapproved, stating that it's too early for the Parliament to consider International Trade Organization, which is a regulatory authority to all the countries at large. You all will be shocked to note that in spite of the Americans' disapproval by the Senate, it was implemented as a de facto organization, and many treaties that was entered into subsequently were implemented in other countries. The very same America in 1986 thought it is time that they have developed well and they want to have their economic advancement in other global countries, and they come out with a proposal called World Trade Organization, and they implemented it thereafter. And therefore, the international law as such is not beneficial to the people at large. It is the municipal law that is important for the development of every individual country. And it is the municipal law, stricter sense, only develop the individual country. If you look upon the climatic change and other controls that America is now advocating, is in a way a cause that they have developed because of their development in atomic energy and other factors. See, these things are all in the minds, and India also is part of the WTO, and a government we thought it fit that we cannot no more have public establishment monopolistically. Even a government company, if it wants to do any business, it has to compete with private enterprises, and thereby the opening of the private enterprise is globally done. The multinational companies which located in America and having lot of huge funds are able to establish various companies in India and other countries. Therefore, the Indian law, I am talking only municipally, have come out with a proposal in inserting in Income Tax Act stating that even if a country, say abroad, which was not so far jurisdictionally accessible in India, have come out with saying that arm's length transaction, transfer pricing are all liable to tax in India. Even if a country play business in our other countries, if they got any business operation in India, that place is called a permanent establishment. These are all the factors to augment revenue for the government to run the municipal country only. So is the case with regard to the goods and service tax. Many people thought it is a rationalization and that thing. It is not the rationalization of any municipal or anything. It is in compliance with the international treaty which we agreed to, that is one nation, one tax. It is because of that only many of the municipal law and the state law were merged together and come out with the concept of goods and service tax. The object is, if any other country want to do business in India, they can have the product once moved in, it will be liable to tax at one point only. Thereafter, it passed through a cascading method only. The third one is about the intellectual property right, which everybody is aware that the property value were substituted by intangible asset, that is creation of the individual. These people's rights were recognized, and they are the monopolists now, they are running the show. To control these people, On the one hand, the government has given opportunity to individual people to contribute their intellects for the welfare of the people at large. At the same time, they should be rewarded, but at the same time, as the other speaker rightly put it, under the Right to Information Act, their creative mind and other thing is to be put to public domain so that the other people will know and they can proceed further. These are all the factors that comes into being, that is the law and the development. And one other important thing which I would like to say, because the Honorable President of the Mauritius is there and the judges are there, at one point of time when there is no law with regard to curtailing environmental pollution, the Supreme Court of India has come out with an invoking Article 21 and say that the environmental treaty that was entered into by the Government of India is supposed to be made in law at the earliest, and therefore the environmental law came in. Similarly, Tamil Nadu government, when they talk about the imposition of language, they come out invoking the international treaty and say that Tamil can be an important language as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. These are all the factors which ultimately I would like to submit before this August forum is the national law is nothing but the globalization of the international law or the developed countries' law, which were directly or indirectly put into the municipal laws of individual nation, and thereby the implementation happening. So the government of each country has to come out with proposal to have regulation which is permitted under the World Trade Organization, to have access not to affect the local people of the country. That's why Mr. Vidudalai also stated so many enactments were by the Indian government. These are the things which ultimately goes to prove the Speaker of Singapore said that the law is ultimately the governing factor for economic development of the individual country. That is my view always, individually, and ultimately it's a benefit to the people at large, because Mr. Vidudalai's son and daughter-in-law himself is working and enjoying in Singapore. So ultimately it becomes a global law. I thank the organization for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I thank His Excellency, Honorable President of Mauritius, and the Honorable Judges and MPs and other dignitaries present for patiently watching our progress. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech, and we thank everyone here for the wonderful speech on law and economic development. May I request the President of Mauritius, His Excellency Paramasivam Pillai Vayapuri, to do the honors. To the Chairman of the session, S. Bhaskar, Judge High Court of Madras. Mr. Gandhi, Senior Advocate, Chennai. Mr. R. Viduthalai, Senior Advocate, Chennai. Dr. A. Tyagarajan, Senior Advocate, Chennai. Mr. A. Ravindran, Advocate, former Member of Parliament, Singapore. I said Dr. R. Meenakshi Sundaram, Advocate, Chennai. Thank you all once again.